Hey guys, welcome to Solarity Technology. Today here I'm streaming with Kevin from ModMyMods, and he's one of the guys that works at a local mod shop, and they do a lot of cool stuff. And I'm actually a customer of theirs, and they're going to be selling my RGB DAC for the people that know about that. So um, they're pretty they're a pretty good group of guys. So I've started hanging out with them a little bit, and I wanted to do a live stream with Kevin here. He knows actually quite a bit more than I do about cameras and.
That's
And
not true.
and last
That's
year,
not
well,
always.
went to school for it. So,
I did. Yes.
but I was wondering if you could give us kind of like a brief history of like Mod by Mods. I mean, it was kind of cool to see how you've grown, at least from the time I've started
Yeah,
shopping there.
absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's kind of neat to be able to work for a shop where you and your friends started it.
Yeah.
We used to work at a facility that did something similar, but because we were running the company anyways, we decided to break off and do it ourselves. And Joe, the company leader, the CEO himself, was kind enough and willing enough, and honestly had the balls enough to try it, and was able to get us a small loan, and we started selling parts. We started in the basement, to be honest, kind of very similar to this. But
And how long ago was that, out of curiosity?
so let's see, it's almost 4 years now,
Huh.
3.5, something like that. But there was a couple years, well, not a couple years. It was probably about 6 months to 8 months before then to just prep and get
Yeah.
the website up and running and the images going and that type
Yeah,
of thing. So it was a long time to get it going. But now that we actually do have the ability to source some parts and to work with people like you, that are creating new parts and new things, and kind of offer that to our own customers and our own viewers to try and help each other out, because I know a lot of the people might not know what you're doing,
Yeah.
and what he's creating, because he's got a crazy RGB solution coming up that we're planning on working with, and we're gonna carry and try and help you with. But that's kind of like what we try to bring to the customers as well, is that different type of it's a custom car shop, really. You bring it there, that you're gonna get it taken care of as if it was their own, and we have all of the parts kind of on hand to do that. Obviously, we're still trying to expand and everything like that. But in 3 years, we were able to come from the basement to a reasonable sized warehouse, and we have the mod shop and the studio and stuff like that. So it's working out.
Yeah, and I see like the first time I went there, it was inside a warehouse, and then a few times later I went, and there's a big hole in the wall, and you invaded the next building, the next location.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like you're not really sure, especially when you're doing like small business stuff. You're definitely running a risk, and to be honest, it's hard to fight that battle, which is always uphill.
Yeah.
And it really is, until you start
Yeah.
to plateau and really make it or whatever. You're really fighting an uphill battle. But it's nice to have people that come back.
Yeah.
To see how we're progressive. I mean, the first time you came in, we had the 2 plastic shelves. That was it, or something like that.
Well, it was Black Friday because the other place was closed, and I'm like, oh, I need these parts to finish this loop. So I went. I'm like, wow, these guys are actually really cool. They're just very excited to be here, and they're open on a Black Friday, so I can actually get these parts to finish this loop that I was working on. But,
Absolutely. Well, we were glad that you came in too, because it's actually ironic because you have a history in computers as well.
Yes, I do.
A wild history. Can you explain a little bit of that, just so
Okay.
your viewers know a little too?
Well, most people won't know this, but I actually did start a business right after I got out of college. A few
Yes.
friends of mine got together
Yep.
to do an independent study as kind of like a senior project. And what happened is we did a lot of marketing research and decided to start our own business. It was a LAN center, so we had 40 PCs, 4,000 square feet, and starting a business is not easy. There's a lot involved in it. You basically become almost a slave to it. It's the
Yes.
next hardest thing is having or next hardest thing, or something similar, would be having a kid, especially a very active child.
Yes.
So those are the 2 most challenging things I've done in my life. But there's things I've noticed. Like, you guys started off smaller. Like, we went out and we got a retail space that was 4,000 square feet, and it was like $1 per square foot per month, and that's like in 2004 dollars, so a little bit more back then.
Mm-hmm.
So $4,000 to $4,200 every month. Really hit the bottom line and stopped us from kind of expanding, being able to upgrade, and a lot of other things. And we had we started in 2004, then 2008, 2009 came around, the whole economy just sunk.
Really
We had guys that would come in there and they would say, I have to spend money on gas. I'd be in here more, So you had the gas crisis, and
it was like $3.99 a gallon and stuff like that. $4 for a change.
It was
ridiculous.
Remember that. So
it's ironic because Dorn kind of just came in and we didn't really know who he was. Obviously, he was just a customer, but we started talking to him about this this computer place that he used to own. Well, I went there lots and spent lots of money and probably gave you lots of money.
Yeah.
And saw that you had your computer thrown in the corner that no one touched. This awesome triple monitor setup with everything, and it was incredible. And it's cool that now that we have our own business that we're able to work together.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. So not only myself but Corey at the shop too.
Yeah.
He was like, dude, we used to go in there, be like 4 or 5 guys, and we'd all play together, and it was fun. It was a good time.
It's a lot of fun when it was Battlefield 1942 or Battlefield 2.
2142.
And you can just fill a whole room full of people playing the exact same game. It was just, it's like, wow.
It was fun, though.
Yeah, you could work together. People would actually listen.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, so we would do, these, overnight, LAN parties where lock-ins.
Yeah, you would do the lock-ins.
Yeah.
I remember going to one. Because you had, there was a Super Smash Brothers tournament.
That was Kelvin, yeah.
And then there's Super Smash Brothers tournament, and then there was a Pokemon Stadium, I think, on Nintendo 64 that somebody had brought in too.
Oh.
And they were doing that as well. And then you had this crazy LAN that was going on in the background. And
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the kids they liked it when you yelled at them. It was hilarious, You called them names like maggots or whatever. They just ate it all up. They thought it was funny just to make fun of them, and they respected that for some reason.
I think just having some sort of adult figure that was willing to take the time, that actually understood that you wanted to play video games, because I do remember there was one guy, that was always there. And every time I came in, he always treated you like your family. Just come on in, play some games or whatever, and you could leave when you wanted to. So that's pretty neat.
Those were fun days, but unfortunately, again, the economy kind of hit. And at the time, I was actually working for a fairly large company as well. So I was doing this. I got offered a job. A very good paycheck working for it was Xerox at the time, and I couldn't refuse it, so I basically had a couple friends that were running it with me, and then about 6 months to a year after that, that's when the economy just hit, and I'm just like, I started to sink money back into the business, trying to keep it afloat, but just it was difficult at the time, so we just decided to kind of cut our losses and closed down. So it was a sad day, kind of very depressing. But life is all about learning experiences. You learn from one experience, you move on, you figure out how to do things, you figure and I guess that's one lesson that I learned. Buying a retail space in a prime location and spending $4,200 every month in rent really kills you. You guys started small and you just basically kind of expanded. I had kind of grandiose ideas. Let's have this over here. So we kind of expanded the place as opposed to being there, the moving or But I thought that's I'm like, wow, these guys. It's nice to see them not making some of the same mistakes I made. And if there's anything ever pointers that I can give you from my experience, you learn most things from your bad experiences. So.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And I honestly, any tidbits or information or helpful hints and tips and tricks, we'll take them because it's a tough thing to do. A lot of people are just under the impression that you can just go out and do it, and if you have money, anything's possible, and that's not really. That's kind of the case. You can get the products and stuff like that, but you're not making the personal connections and showing your worth in the
Yeah.
modding community and this industry, really. You know, anything from doing live streams, building computers for other people, working with other people. I mean, obviously, you can see in your corner, you got a stack of stuff over there, you know, your Gigabyte box and Asus and stuff like that, Norris. And working with these companies it's not really easy.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're just starting and getting into it, it's not something that just happens.
Yeah, you have to establish those relationships.
Exactly, and that's one thing that a lot of people that don't really know, you know, the industry very well, that just they assume that, oh well, if I ask, hey, give me a 2080, well, it'll happen. No, that's not exactly how you do it. You have to sweat and bleed a little bit in order to earn your keep. But let's talk about some products, because obviously I'm here for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
show us your stuff.
Yeah, sure, right, yeah. Oh, I didn't know you want my muscles, whatever. Yeah. So no, thanks. So yes, we are actually partaking in some adult beverages, which are fantastic. These are actually made here locally. Trip Hammer's here from Fairport.
Yeah.
That's just right up the street. That's Rohrbach, which is actually right down the street from where we work. So we're trying to support local businesses. That's kind of our thing, you know. We're
a community.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we sell parts and stuff like that, but we want everybody to learn. And we want to educate people and show everybody that it's not so scary. You know, not everything's scary. So, all right. Well, to start off, big thanks to Corsair. They helped out with some items. Doran has been able to acquire this fantastic little keyboard.
That was a wonderful beta testing tool.
That's a fantastic tool. We got a Stream Deck, which is pretty fun with the little buttons. That means I can push the buttons and, you know, change cameras and all that good stuff. So big thanks to them. Big thanks to Elfcool, who's able to give us ModMyMods some of the parts to show. And then we also have there's an Aqua computer and a couple other things. But thank you again for everybody that did end up helping out with this and this stream that we got here. So again, this keyboard is actually pretty sweet. It is a wireless keyboard that has the touchpad and the this is actually a joystick. It's a thumb joystick.
Yeah.
And you have a audio knob.
Yes, a knurled roller.
Not bad.
You press it in like the.
It's a click.
Yeah, it's a mute, so you can mute it.
Oh, that's pretty cute.
And then you can switch between the the joystick and the touchpad. So it's neat, and it's backlit, so you can see it in the night. Rechargeable, and also actually it's kind of cool because it has two Bluetooth, so I can switch between Bluetooth and the dongle, so you can have 3 different sources. So you can, it's almost like a, you know, kind of like a KVM minus the monitor.
So I'm going to show you this keyboard up here because we got another.
I have my system right back here, which I use for, you know, filming. I also have it connected to my home theater, which is actually behind this wall. So all I do is I just bring this into the room right next to me, and I can use this to.
You still use it on everything.
Yeah, so I mean, like the idea is I wanted a PC for a lab, a PC for home theater, a PC, you know, for doing video related items. So I mean, and it's basically, you know, been great for that. And you know, having a keyboard where you can switch, you know, wherever you go. It's a lot better than you know, you get a wireless keyboard. I've never been a huge fan of wireless items, but you know, in this aspect, it really does, you know, nail the marks. So, well, I see you have a nice block over there. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
So, funny part, we were pressing the mute button, and it was actually muting. Yeah, they're like, you just muted it. I'm like, oh, awesome, cool. It just. All right, let's not do that anymore. Okay, sorry about that.
So we found out that the mute button on this.
to the.
That's also why, because when I switch to the other camera,
Mute this.
it doesn't.
So okay, it doesn't do that. So
Okay, turn that one off. Okay, that one's good. Now if we go to the other camera, it shows me talking still. Okay, good. Good, great, we're good. We're in better. Yep, sorry. Nailed it.
oh, I think you actually muted the wrong one.
No, it's good.
No, this is a.
Oh, so
Sorry.
is that one going
Cover
off?
your ears, guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's cover your ears. Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah, here, don't listen to the smash. Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
All right, so, this keyboard, pretty cool. It's got the buttons and the clickies and good fun stuff on it. But yeah, I think it's a pretty sweet little thing. The Stream Deck is pretty cool. It's like a little, I don't know if you guys.
It's actually a mini.
Oh, it's the mini. Okay, so there's a bigger one that has the bigger buttons.
Yeah, well, they're just more buttons. So there's the original one which has I think is it 15? It might be 15 buttons, and then they come with the Stream Deck Mini, and I think that one goes for like 80 or 90 normally. The Stream Deck, the large one, goes for 150. And then they came out with this gigantic one, so it's basically like almost looks like a keyboard with
with with the hot buttons.
No, but I actually got this one on Corsair's outlet on Amazon for $60. So this is a refurbished one. So
I mean,
and you know,
doesn't look too.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks pretty good to me.
so I mean, as some people might know, I do beta test for them. So you know, they don't give us everything. I mean, the keyboard, I beta tested that for them, and I've liked it. But the Stream Deck, you know, the idea is I want to, you know, kind of play with some of their devices. They actually bought Elgato, so they technically own the company that makes the Stream Deck. But you know, it's nice to try to, you know, buy. Yeah, sometimes you buy your own stuff. Sometimes to just test it out. You know, if there's a problem with, you know, the way refurbished items are done, you know, I want to, you know, kind of give them that feedback. And you know, it's nice that a company will actually kind of work with me. You know, some companies you try to provide them with feedback, and then they, you know, they might be just too busy or it gets lost somewhere. But you know, it's nice that they, you know, have worked with me and some of the other guys I know so much to really try to, you know, take our feedback. You know, they don't take everything you say, you know. They'll listen, you know, but you know, I think they do a fairly good job. So
well, the sound is a bit poppy. All right, well, I'm gonna switch the microphones and let's see if that helps.
Am I peaking, or
I don't know if it's peaking. We're gonna switch the mics though. Let's see what happens.
I don't know
what that mic. Is that the?
That is the camera, right there in front of us. So I'm hoping that maybe for some reason this webcam has a better microphone, which would be pretty sad. It could just be the amount of the adapters
or the bit rate. Well, like I normally do it. I normally use this mic for everything. So, are we coming in better now or worse?
Yeah.
What are people saying?
I don't know. Joe's the only. Yeah, Joe, the owner, is the only one that's yelled at me so far.
Okay.
Pirate said something about it too. All right, yeah, that microphone seems good. Okay, whatever. Well, we'll move on with that one. Yeah. Stream Deck is still pretty sweet though. Has the buttons on it. They're soft push. They're programmable. Again, you just push the button. Bam! Look at that. It goes to the other camera. Hi. And then, bam! You push the button. Obviously, it brings you back. But all of these are programmable. They're really easy to bring up in OBS and actually make it work. It's great. It's fantastic. So, other than that, so we have the Corsair keyboard, the Stream Deck. Let's talk about the thing that you're working on here. Some people know, some people don't know, but let's discuss. All right. This is called the RGB DAC RGB DAC, and what it is designed to do. Come on, camera, work for me here.
Focus. By focusing on your hand.
There we go. Okay, so these boards, what they are designed to do is you are going to plug in all of your RGB. What does this do? I mean, like, obviously you have like RGB hubs and stuff like that, and you have 12-volt RGB and all this other crap. But what does this do? What's different from this one versus any of the other ones that you got here?
Okay,
I mean, like.
So this RGB DAC, it just initially came about because I had a lot of Corsair devices. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed it, but at the same time, I had some analog RGB. Corsair pretty much was
Yeah.
one of the pioneers of using addressable RGBs,
Mm-hmm.
um, LEDs when they came to the market. And so what happened is, you know, Corsair at the time didn't make custom water cooling,
Right.
and I wanted RGB fittings, and
Mm-hmm.
I bought 12 of them, and I wanted to control them all separately. The idea is I could have like the LEDs and have it kind of looping around, as opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
thermal take. Thermal take makes the fittings, and the problem is they come with a manual, like this manual controller, and you everything's on the same channel. So basically, you press the button to get it to the channel you want, and it's, you know, I mean, they had so much more potential, but then they just like half-assed it, you know, with the controller.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is control each channel separately, and it was kind of hard to do that. There's no like controllers out there that have like 12 channels.
Right.
So the idea is I made this RGB DAC right here, and what it does, it takes a digital signal. Like you can either take a Corsair's, as you can see, the Corsair, and this is actually a Molex SL
Here,
connector.
let's see if I can get this camera to focus in a little better
Okay.
for us. There we go.
Okay, so we have the Molex SL connector, which is 3-pin, and this is what they use. And I actually love these connectors because they don't fall off like these ones do. These are annoying. But so it takes an input from a motherboard, RGB header. So this has actually a blank pin. I don't know how well you guys can see it. It's but it takes only one input, and then it gives you 4 different channels for analog devices. So I can plug my Thermaltake RGB fittings into these. Granted, the Thermaltake does use 5-volt analog, so that's slightly different than your 12-volt analog. So I made 2 different versions, and one version I just switch a solder jumper from 12 volt to 5 volts, so that way you can control how much voltage goes into it, because you don't want to fry your fittings because those things aren't cheap.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. No
So
kidding. So you have the ability to take this RGB, pretty much any sort of RGB, and plug it into your Corsair system. You know, well, mostly
you,
designed for.
well, I did name it after Corsair, the RG, like, you know,
Sure.
because they're great. I love IQ,
Mm-hmm.
and they've worked with me a lot on, or like I've worked with them on some of their products as a beta tester. Again, I'm not paid. Every opinion I say is of my own, and
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not paid. I just help them out, and they send me stuff to test, and it's kind of enjoyable. But anyway, it can work with both, you know, your standard addressable header on the motherboard with your Corsair device like a Commander Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and then it takes the first 4 channels of the digital RGB strip or whatever you're using, and lets you address each of the different headers separately, and then it outputs the signal to the next one. So basically, this digital signal comes in, hits. These are the first 4 addressable headers right here, and the signal is passed out. So you can actually link these together. So the output goes to the input of the next one, or you can connect this to like a RGB fan. So this is actually an adapter as well in a way, because you can connect this up to a Corsair device and hook up a like a you know, Cooler Master RGB fan. I mean,
Or
I don't know why you would,
whatever.
but
I mean, you know, anything's possible, right?
yeah.
Anything's possible. So these are pretty incredible, especially when you're talking about being able to implement all of the devices into one thing. I mean, you know, there's so many times. I mean, what we have four or five different things that are on the table. You know, you got a block here that's got some donkey RGB connector, and then you got another one that's over here that's also got another connector and whatnot, and you have all of these different things that you finally have the ability to pipe all into one area.
Yeah.
And have it actually work together. So when you're saying that these actually link together, Thermaltake has their controllers, right? And if you link them together, have you messed with their software at all?
Actually, I haven't.
So
I've seen it. Like people don't hate it as much as they hate other software I've
yeah,
seen out
absolutely.
there.
I mean, and you know, to be perfectly honest, I don't think anyone's got it right. Corsair's pretty close.
Yeah, they are the
They're
closest one.
Aqua Computer's gonna give them a run for their money.
Well,
If
maybe
you
I'll have to
haven't
see.
messed with their Quadro, their RGB system,
Mhm.
I mean, you talk about some crazy.
Well, I do like how they have the Corsair RGB headers, so
Mhm.
you can easily plug your Corsair devices into. It's nice that they add that, interoperability between, if that's a word, between different brands,
Mhm.
or when people are proprietary, and that's a trigger for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's kind of like the pain that you run into, especially with like RGB builds. Um, I mean, I can't tell you how many times. I mean, with Slushy, with Nergante, with the Torque build, with all of these different RGB builds that we've put together and have RGB lighting, and it's just it's a nightmare to get it all to work together because everybody thinks they have the right idea of
Yeah.
what should be the standard, right? So having a controller again like this would be
Well,
incredible. Having it being able to daisy chain together, and having multiple things, connected into one source,
yeah,
that's incredible.
and you can stack them, and they can be mounted to the like a SSD or a 2.5-inch drive caddy, so you can actually
Oh,
stack them like this. The idea is that way you have limited space in your PC, so you can just stack them.
that's pretty
And
neat.
this is currently in production. Actually, I did have a setback where they put one together, and I realized that like few of the components there was a typo in the bill of materials I sent them, so I had to order new parts. And
Oh,
luckily we caught it when they did that with one sample. So they're producing it, and so it should be in production fairly well. Like it should already be in production. They should be shipping it hopefully to me sometime soon. They have like I think they have some like Chinese boat festival or something going on right
yeah,
now.
yeah. There's always some festival
Oh,
going on.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. So I mean, obviously, with these are like prime modding,
Yeah.
components. So obviously, we would like to
Yeah.
work with you to carry those products because I mean, having something again that we can just
Yeah.
offer that, hey, yeah, you can hook everything together right to this and
Yeah.
it'll work.
And
That's
just
awesome.
also one shout out. So there's actually going to be two people or two different groups selling it. It's actually a friend of mine who has an eBay store. Pirate
Perfect.
Dog Tech is going to be selling these on eBay. It
Oh,
also
nice.
expands, what avenue, because you guys don't sell on eBay, and I really don't want to offer this to some, because I know you guys sell on Amazon and Newegg as well. So I want to kind of keep it exclusive to different areas of the market, because not everybody will go to new. If you're especially international, you won't go to Newegg. Some people go to Amazon internationally, but so it's kind of neat to work with different people, and he's actually helped me with a little bit of the input as far as design, and he's a good friend of mine. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's nice to be working with friends on this, and
That actually know of some
yeah,
things is great.
and
He actually funny that you say that because he's mentioning the Borrow RGB uses a 3-pin fan header for their RGB, and
yeah,
that's annoying as all hell. I pardon my French, but oh my god, it's so terrible. Because
12 volt, 5 volt.
right, which one is it? But which one is it? But all three are occupied. So is it 12 volt or is it 5 volt or
Oh.
is it both?
Or you could do like what I did. I actually bought one from you guys because it actually wasn't that bad priced, and I cut off the tip, and
Yep.
I just
Test
crimped on.
each one.
Well, I knew which one went to what, but like I just crimped on a Molex SL connector, and it actually works great connecting to my Commander Pro. I actually use that for my external RGB lighting setup that I have. So
Really
yeah,
interesting.
it works great. So
Okay, what's this? What's the Molex SL connector? Like, what does that actually look like?
so it's a. Let me see if I can find one. I have a box full of them across the room.
Oh, is it this one right here?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. That's a
I'm
4-pin.
All right, so I'm gonna show you guys here. I'm gonna show you the desktop. Stop what we're looking here. No, DigiKey did not sponsor
this
in any way, shape, or form. They didn't pay for nothing. But hey, check it out. This is the connector that he's talking about.
Yeah,
So
so
this
this
is
is
a
a
4-pin
4-pin version of it.
This is the 4-pin version of what we're looking at here. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so but apparently, yeah, you can crimp those Borrow connectors together, and oh, it's asking to be plugged into a motherboard fan header. Yes, it is. And unfortunately,
People probably have done
people
that.
probably. No, I can guarantee people have definitely done that. But you know, it is. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you can't. I mean, hey, I've also burnt out things with RGB. So
Yeah.
we all fry things. I mean, you
Well,
fried things.
Yeah, I've done plenty of stupid things, but the thing is, like, if you to make it more idiot proof, I mean, like just the fact that Corsair is not only has a clip that prevents it from being pulled out,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're trying to wire manage and you have those standard like round connectors that you normally have for RGB,
Yeah.
you're trying to wire manage everything, and then like it just comes loose. I actually use, and then you have to find out where it is. So I actually use for those I actually use just some tape. I put some electrical tape around each joint, which really helps. That's a pro tip for you guys. But
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that would be bad. Blue smoke. We use what is it? Half inch heat shrink. That's a 3-to-1, shrink
yeah,
ratio, and cut like 3-inch sections, or
which
whatever.
is
In heat
another
shrink.
way of doing it.
But it also like that sucks too, because when you have a splitter that decides it doesn't want to split anymore, and
Yeah.
only 2 of the 4 things are working, they gotta cut it all off. Hell with that. All right. So let's talk about more new products. What else we got here?
So what is that globe thing? Right
Oh
there?
God, this thing. Okay. All right. Well, no, it's cool. It is cool. All right. This is the Alpha Cool Eyes ball. Yeah. It is a reservoir. Look at that. Isn't that just fancy?
Is it a pump plug-in? Is it a
Oh yeah.
reservoir
All
pump
right. So
combo?
check it out. It's a reservoir pump combo, right? And it does not separate. Like, this does not like unscrew or anything like that.
So it must be pain to try to clean it.
Yeah. So you're getting it. However, this would be really, really cool because it has a lot of different neat little features. The top here, when you actually have the pump in, has like a swirl effect. So it's kind of like flushing your toilet all the time, which is fantastic, which is kind of cool.
Does it spin the other way when you're in Australia?
It probably does. I've been. It doesn't.
Oh.
Anyways, so it is RGB, and it is a digital RGB. Finally, they have their. Hey, look at that! It's a 3-pin connector that looks like a fan connector, but it's not. It's actually a JST connector. It's a 3-pin JST. The little.
Yeah, at least it's keyed, which makes it a little bit more idiot proof.
I mean, and you can plug them in right together, right? Infinite loop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Unlimited.
No, I'm kidding. That's not infinite loop. That's not what you're supposed to do. This is actually, it's a split, so you can daisy chain them together. And AlphaCool has their own digital RGB controller that they're supposed to be having, together in this kit. So you should be able to take like this 2080 block here, and you can daisy chain the 2 things together if they fit. They might not. They probably don't. But
looks like the lunar lake.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna sound really bad, but what I want to do is I want to take one ball here, right, and I want to take a block, and then I want to put another ball on the other side of it, and like make it the Dr. Evil spaceship, and make that into a pump res combo. I don't know. That was my thought. But it's just JST. It's just a 3-pin little guy with a key out on the top there. But this is now available. Again, this is not.
And how much is it?
That's a fantastic question. Why don't we go to the internet? Oh my goodness! I gotta fix it. Sorry, guys. Main camera. Oh my goodness. Sorry, that was awful.
Yeah. So,
but I can't fix the audio. That's the only problem when I go to the desktop. I'm looking it up on the website to see what the actual price is of this thing. I think it's like.
This is our first time doing a live stream together, so there's a little bit of a learning curve.
A little bit of a learning curve. Well, I actually don't know if we have it on the site yet.
Huh.
It's $1 million.
Okay.
It's infinite. There is no. It's worth its weight in gold.
Oh.
No, it's actually pretty sweet though. I mean, you can put a 755 or the 655 pump in there, and all that it does is, as you can see, it just kind of unscrews from the bottom. You drop your pump right in there on the top, and screws right in. Good to go, and it flows. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's something that's just fun. Another thing that we got is the 2080 blocks. A lot of people have seen these.
It's not ready till June or mid-July, according to Joe.
Oh, not ready until June or mid-July. All right, well, there you go. Yeah, well, you can wait, because I did. I had to wait a long time, and that's, I think, still a prototype. So, yes, the globe is full of water when it works. I'm actually... AlphaCool will be having a video coming out in the next day or two, hopefully, that I made for them about the reservoir, and I do a little setup where it's actually running in the loop. But yeah, the ball actually fills all the way up, or pretty close to the top, and all the water circulates inside of it, which is pretty cool. The 2080 blocks, these are the AlphaCool GPX Pros or whatever, GPXNs, that's what they're called. GPXN, this one's for the 2080 Ti. Now, they also have it set up so doesn't matter if you have the 2080 Ti or the 2080. They are based on the same PCB layout, so this block will work on the same 2080 or 2080 Ti. So, great with a milky liquid. That's actually really funny that you said that. There's white fluid in it. So yeah, definitely make sure that you check out the link that we got on our YouTube page. But that block, pretty cool. We do have that one in stock. We have a couple other 2080 blocks as well.
So what else do you got?
Let's see here. Okay, so this is one of their new radiators, which I thought was pretty awesome. The reason that I thought it was awesome is because it's a different...
or 60?
Yeah, it's actually 80 mil.
Okay.
So it's designed for server cooling. So it's actually set up. This one is a triple 80 mil. That is super thick. It's just like ridiculously thick. It's
multiple channels, right?
So it they actually.
So it goes back and forth.
Correct,
okay.
Back and forth. But you have ins and outs on the top, on the top, the bottom, the sides, whichever. And it doesn't necessarily matter which way you have it going, as long as it goes in one way and out the other. I mean, they're pretty cool. In a 2RU unit, that would be a pretty sweet little solution.
Granted, I work as a system engineer. We do quite a bit with servers, Linux sysadmin. So, and I would actually have a concern about putting this in, personally putting like in a data center. Like we actually do have a pretty interesting solution for what we have at work. We actually have like these chillers that actually are part of the case, or sorry, part of the like rack. So they basically put these rack doors that have these chillers on them with fans, and basically cools the exhaust coming out. So it keeps them really cool. It's just like when you start working on a server, you pull the server out, you have to change memory. I mean, generally you don't do a whole lot, and especially if you have like we stack like maybe 8 servers. So if one leaks, water
all the way down.
It seemed like a cool idea, but I do question like form versus
function.
Yeah, like is it really?
Well, I mean, it's RGB, right?
Oh yeah,
RGB makes everything faster.
I mean,
you get
true,
an extra 200 megahertz at least on every core clock, so like whatever.
That's a very good point. Like for like a personal, if it's your own personal server, hands down, if you're an enthusiast, it makes sense. But just from like a data center, like alarm bells goes off, is because just a leak in a top server.
Yeah, the whole
water
way down.
goes downhill. So, but I mean, like I don't know if they're exactly going for that.
They're trying to implement it into servers. Obviously, they have the new water block that came out, the 1U or U1. 1U. I don't know. The thing is massive. I mean, it's this big. It has ins and out ports on all sides, the bottom, the top, the sides, all of it. And what they're trying to do is set it up so you have like a closed loop system that has that radiator already pre-filled, has the fluid in it, has the CPU. You don't have to do anything besides install it and send it. However, I do kind of have the same feeling. It's like in a server, If it's my own personal, absolutely, I
Yeah.
water cool everything. So sure. But in a data center, I don't know. You know, in these new cases, like the form factors, small form factor, I think that'd be great. Like our buddy Damon, he's doing one. Why the heck can't I think? Pro clockers.
Okay.
He's doing one for that's the in-one case, the 1RU case. And actually, what we ended up doing is sending him one of these, which is actually an even smaller radiator. This one is designed for the 1RU units. They are only 40 millimeter size spacing holes and whatnot, but you have 4 of them, and they are 60 millimeters thick. So I mean, they are gonna flow some pretty good air. I mean, because they are so thick. I mean, they are gonna dissipate the heat. Again, they have the ins and outs on all the sides, you know, which is pretty neat. So you know, in a server rack, that does seem like a good idea.
How does this one look better?
Cyclops, yes, I like that one better. I mean, this one,
It's like
this one's like the Aviators.
I mean, like
And
it's
those
kind of like
ones-
Star. It's probably what they use for their binoculars in Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, this one's too big.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so
That's unreal. Wow.
but they're pretty sweet. I mean, they're small little things. You know, they're pretty cool. We went to JNCS, which is a company in Fairport, not too far from here, and we set up a what was it, a 6. It was a 6. So it was a hexagon, hexa rad. And we did push pull on it, and it was louder than hell. It was just so loud with all these little baby fans on it and everything like that. So I mean, obviously functionality, yeah, it would work, but I don't know. I don't know.
I always thought it'd be kind of cool to like try to do like a whole house loop where you try to kind of incorporate like all your cooling together. I mean, imagine integrating like your fridge, your
Oh yeah.
well, like all this cool
Well, we had a
phase
guy.
change.
We had a guy that was in. I think it was in Brazil, or he's in that tropical area and that climate, and he was actually using his water cooling to heat his hot water tank because he didn't use a lot of hot water because obviously it's so damn hot down there in the first place.
Yeah.
That he didn't actually need to heat his hot water past room temperature.
Yeah.
So he plumbed his computer into his hot water tank to feed the water into it and constantly refresh it. Now how he did it and how he made the water clear enough to do that, to run through a computer system, I'm not really sure.
I mean, like you could have had some type of heat exchanger where the radiator was inside of it and was closed off. But I mean, like I think if we moved to something like that, that'd be kind of a better idea. If we could kind of integrate like a cooling system that you plug your fridge in, your HVAC unit,
all of it's into one. Thing.
Your water heater. Just I mean, why waste heat? Why waste this energy when you could use it somewhere else? I mean, it'd be kind of fascinating. It might be a lot more complex, and a breakdown in one part of the system could probably mean that you're not only do you get cold water, but also your food defrost. But
yeah, right.
But
the Cooler Master. Have you seen the Cooler Master illuminated RGB hard tube? Yes, I have. Have you?
Cooler Master
Illuminated RGB hard tube.
Oh, is that the one where it had like addressable LEDs going through it and it kind of made it look like it would?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. However, I do not know. Is that it?
I don't know if it was like a.
I'm not, to be perfectly honest with you, I've seen it. I thought it was just a fitting that kind of goes onto the hard tube. Kind of like the Thermaltake one.
Well, it looked like something that was actually kind of attached to the tubing. That's what I think. That I saw something about 3D printing or something like that.
Well, because I've seen those where there's a guy. I'm pretty sure AK Mod did it, and one of the guys in Taiwan did it as well. Where you actually, literally, what he did is 3D printed clamps
that clamp
that had an LED strip on it, and he would glue the LED strip into the clamp and then clamp that onto the tubing.
Yeah.
So to be perfectly honest with you, that's as far as I saw as well, but I haven't seen much more of it other than that. Okay, so it is 3D printed. Yeah, that seems right on par. We actually, We do a lot of stuff like that too. 3D printing like custom little channels and stuff like that just to make the RGB stuff stick. You know, sometimes like when you want to replace one that's in this and it doesn't actually work or it doesn't light the whole thing the way that you want it to, we'll actually like print like a 3D channel. Josh, our code monkey, there has been he's incredible at stuff, and he really knows how to do some 3D and modeling and stuff like that. So he was able
Jack of
to.
all trades.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It really is. I mean, the welder's broken, go fix it. He can do it, and the website's
MacGyver.
broken, go fix it. He can do it. Yeah, yeah, right. With a pencil and a Q-tip or whatever, you can.
Don't forget duct tape.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And a pocket knife.
No, we're not verging that.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing it. Sorry. I know we're not
Don't mean
supposed to
either.
make fun of the Verge, and everybody knows, but you know he did something that was unacceptable.
Something.
Less than unacceptable. Okay, I mean like. But now everybody knows you don't put that much thermal paste on, and you don't use a stupid like a Swiss Army knife like.
How about your Livestrong band?
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Oh.
I know you like. I'm sure follow this to a T. You know, because it's an anti-static mat and
no, I don't.
Ground.
Like,
okay.
I try to, but like I've never damaged a device from like Granted, I don't run around like shag carpet wearing fuzzy wool sweater,
scrubbing your feet across.
Yeah. So like and it's I keep it it's not too. It's a basement, so it's not super dry. I try to keep it 50. So I mean, but like I get when I was taking apart my 2080 Ti, I did use it, but like it's as I get more into EE, it's I have like all these ICs laying out, and it's I just don't want some little thing it causing a problem with something I'm working on. So
I understand that.
And but building a PC, I just just don't do stupid shit.
Right. I mean, it's true though, because you have this thing. I see it. I'm gonna unplug it. Right. Okay. Here we go.
To be honest, it was actually more of a. I wanted to support Gamers Nexus.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Now I can build. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Ready to build. All right. Sorry, but no. Okay. These anti-static things do make a difference. I'm not saying like they don't make a difference, because they do. They actually do ground you kind of depending on the situation, but because there's so many stupid variables that you're talking about, well, you can't say that this is going to be the fix-all.
Yeah. And
you can't say that this is the reason why it didn't work.
But typically what I do when I'm working on a system, I leave it plugged in to the power, so it's grounded, but I kill the main. So the switch on the back only kills the mains power coming in. It still maintains the connection between ground. So as long as you have your arm on the side of the case and you're still grounded.
You're pretty much grounded. Yeah.
And as long as you're not walking around on a shag carpet.
I mean, most of us like to wear shoes or at least slippers that have like some sort of rubber bottom or anything like that.
So what else? Why don't you just quickly kind of show us what you got back here?
All right. So the other two things that I got.
Is that the end? Like, what's that? The Next or
So RGB goodness. Let's put these. This is one of the coolest pump res combos that you'll see. This is the Aqua Computer D5. The top part is I'm pretty sure they call this the Equalis, the reservoir. But this is a D5 pump top with the D5 Next. Obviously, I don't have it plugged in or have water, but this panel actually lights up RGB. It is removable, comes off. The back here actually has your different ins and outs. You have a SATA connection for your power. You have your RGB in, and I'm pretty sure that's your RGB out, and then you have your PWM, which allows you to, see how fast the pump is actually running, or to actually regulate how fast it's going. It also has the physical buttons on it too that you can punch and go through the menu, but it has an LCD screen on it as well, an OLED screen. These things are really cool. The the neatest feature, I think, again with the whole RGB thing and everybody's going crazy about that, is they've really figured out like the RGB and how to daisy chain it together correctly and make it all work together. So you actually don't need to have the RGB hub from Aqua Computer to make this work. The pump itself is an RGB controller.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
you can daisy chain right out of this RGB connection right out of the back, boom, right into 6 other LED strips if you wanted to. Or a ring, or 2 rings and then go to an LED strip and then to a block and then to another LED strip. Doesn't matter. Let it go. So this is actually, again, one of the cooler things that we have.
Yeah, it's not just your standard like D5 that might have PWM or just SATA. Like, ooh, that's got SATA.
Yeah, no, this has got some more features
Yeah.
to it, and it is a true PWM. So like you can actually tell the pump to run at half speed, or quarter speed, or whatever the minimum voltage is for D5 pump to run. And this is a standard D5 pump. It's based off the 655. It's not based off any new thing or anything like that. So they went with if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal with the pump. But when they came with the electronics, it's incredible.
And when it comes to the D5 pump, the internet seems to universally agree that's the only thing that everybody agrees is the best pump when it comes to water cooling.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the best bang for your buck, absolutely. I mean, there's one pump that's better, but it's the Eheim's pump, and you're gonna pay twice as much. I mean, you know,
I've never heard of that one. I've heard of the DDC.
So the Eheim's pump, actually, I'll bring that one for you next time.
Okay.
The Eheim's pump is actually like a unit that's about yay big, and I think it's partially based off of the pumps that they use for ponds and small, small ponds, and to keep the oxygen flowing throughout the pond and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's based off of that principle. But the amount of flow that you get in one of these pumps is astronomical.
A lot more head pressure.
But you're paying almost double the price just for that pump. So, but you're absolutely right.
Well, the D5 itself is also an industrial pump. It's used on HVAC units. You know, it's used in industry for quite a lot of things other than just water cooling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have and that's kind of same with the Eheims too. You know, they use it for so many other things other than just water cooling. You know, ponds and pools and spa systems and all sorts of crazy stuff. So
it's a bit more reliable than aquarium pump.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing that I got here is this is the Aqua Computer. This is the Vision little block. I don't really know how to tell you what it actually is. It's the Vision. It's the Vision Pro that sits on your desk. It is the USB version, and what this does is it works directly in line with all of your Aqua Computer products. So if your pump is running at a certain RPM and you need to know what it actually is, it will read out on this little display here. You can also have this regulate temperature. You can have the buttons do whatever the heck you want it to. It's actually heavy, so like I guess it could double as a weapon if you wanted to. Because I mean, like, feel that thing. It's not. Yeah, right. Like it's not light.
Oh, thanks.
And then on the back, what you have is it's just a regular temperature sensor for room temp.
Yeah.
So you can get just a basic idea for what the actual temperature in the room is.
Or you could use it as a basal thermometer.
Right, exactly. Whatever, But I mean, they're pretty neat because the programming is actually very, very open to what your imagination is. It's all written in Python, so pretty much however far you want to take it is however far it'll go. RGB also, goes through all of the different the programs and stuff like that, the Aqua Suite, and it all ties together, and you can load up custom images. You can do whatever with these things.
Maybe we should do at some point like a Corsair IQ versus Aqua Tuning, just so people know like the differences, because some people have different preferences. Obviously I'm come from like kind of the IQ side, which I love Corsair. So it'd be interesting to show people, how do these two compare. So
I mean, they're relatively close. I mean, when it comes to the addressable RGB, you got Corsair, you got Thermaltake, you have and then Aqua Computer.
Oh, I mean, you have Asus, Gigabyte. Granted, like all those kind of are
But I mean, like, it's not true RGB. Like, Asus doesn't have their own lineup of fans that are RGB that connect all into the Asus thing. You know, the Gigabyte doesn't have their own RGB fans that have their own software and stuff like that. Which, by the way, the Gigabyte software.
Yeah, RGB fusion. Like it's. Yeah.
If you can stay away from it, you can, and they even know it too. You know, like they're working on trying to improve it.
They're a hardware company. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather
Yes.
have a good UEFI and a good motherboard, and then have less concern about the RGB software. Granted, it'd be nice if they have like a RGB input, like where you could just plug in your controller into and then you control the
Everything works together and stuff like that. Well, but that's what your products are, right?
Oh, I mean,
right.
Well, I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually working on controlling like the I/O cover, the chipsets. Some of those, a lot of them still use analog RGB. So just making a little adapter. I think it's like a Pico. Was it? I forget what Pico adapter it is, but it's a really small adapter. You can plug it in, and you should be able to control it with the DAC. I mean, that's one way of doing it. I mean, there's no way I can really control things that are actually surface mounted to the board. But if there's a connector, a header that I can plug it into, just unplug the wire that's coming out of that header and plug it into the DAC, and you can basically control. I can control my I/O cover and my chipset LED from my DAC.
From the one board, which is pretty incredible. Again, the thing that we're talking about is his Doran's DAC here, which that's what he's working on, which is this RGB DAC, which allows you to adapt your 12-volt RGB items that are in your case to make it work with a lot of other different things. But talk about some incredible stuff. That's pretty neat, to see that. I mean, now I'm looking at the comments and stuff like that. Yeah, everyone does have their fans coming out after Computex. Computex was pretty much an RGB unicorn fart fest. The one thing I will tell you, the cool thing that I thought was pretty awesome is Cooler Master came out with those double fans. The double RGB fans?
Double RGB fan.
Yeah, man. So, you got a 240 mil radiator? No problem. We got a 240 mil fan for you. Yeah.
240.
Yeah, it's a 240 millimeter. It's actually two 120 millimeter fans. But it's actually made into a 240 millimeter bracket that goes boom right on top of the radiator. Which is I thought that was pretty cool, because if you get a 360, you don't have to mess around with, getting all the fans to line up and the different holes and all that shit. That's pretty cool that it works like that. That was the one thing that I did see that was pretty neat. I mean, obviously they have all sorts of craziness that's coming out that's all RGB, the Cooler Master stuff and all sorts of things, AMD with their new chips and all that. It's really interesting to see what's happening in the next couple months to see how it's going to evolve and see what's happening. Yeah, Kalen's actually, that makes a very, very good point. They all run through one set of cables. Yeah, so the fans, the mounting thing and whatnot, if you get the 360 or whatever, it's just one, boop, plugged in. PWM, done. That's it. It's all there. Which, that's cool. All the fans are all tied together and everything. That's awesome. And then you have the same with the RGB it's all one connector, which is pretty nice. But we'll have to see what Corsair's coming out with in the next couple months and see how things are going to evolve with RGB and what's the next best thing. So
no, they're shrinking it down. I think it's like 0202 or 2020 instead of the 5050, which is really. I don't know if it's 2020 or, but anyway, I don't remember the name of the form factor off the top of my head. But 5050 refers to like the 5 mil by 5 mil size of the SMD. So you can have 5050 analog, you can have 5050 addressable, 5 volt, 12 volt. So 5050 is just a form factor, just like SMD means surface mounted device, and THD means through hole technology. So I think they're just going to shrink it and make things,
even smaller.
Yeah, until you get a LCD in your computer.
Which they had one of those too at Computex. I saw the side of the the panel was an
Hmm.
LED screen, and it was see
Yeah,
through.
the snowblind,
Yeah, it's
like
something like
yeah,
that.
people. Some guys actually did mods where they did
Hmm.
their own version of that, and that looked really cool. Where they actually placed like the temperature, their CPU, and actually
Hmm.
had it over the CPU, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, OLED.
OLED, yeah,
Yeah,
just like the all the Aqua computer stuff. That's
yeah,
all we did LED. But yeah, to see that in lighting will be
yeah,
pretty neat. E3 obviously is happening this week.
yeah.
Games. Let's talk games for a minute. What games are you waiting for?
Ugh.
If there's anything, because to be honest with you, I know you've been playing games for a long time. I've been playing games for a very long time, and I'm still kind of waiting for something to spark my interest again.
I tried Apex, and I just I get in the game, run around, collect things for about 10 minutes, and then I die.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then like the first time I'm playing it, I'm just like, why are these guys teabagging me? Like I'm like, what? And then I realize they're looting me.
Hmm. Yeah. Bend down, grab all the stuff. Bend down, grab all the stuff. Okay, gotta go. Yep. And then
Yeah.
they run. Apex is fun.
Yeah, I've just been trying to play with it, but again, like there's people, there's 13-year-olds that are probably a lot more skilled at it, spend a lot more time, and you just go in. It's just you don't get a chance to really kind of, I guess like I play a lot of Overwatch, and
Mhm.
if you suck, it basically lowers the bar so much until you get into people that are as bad as you, and that's kind of how you learn and start enjoying the game. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
I kind of enjoy those. I guess I love Overwatch. That's kind of the game I've been playing most of. And during a lot of the games I play are kind of more driven by the community. Like if I have a group of friends that play it, then I tend to drive into those games. But I also like games that are kind of more complex. I mean, I probably used to play WoW like many years ago. Like
Yes.
I don't think I've played that in about a decade.
Again, like I said, we used to go to play games at his shop, and he had a shrine. Yeah, that's what we used to call it. We used to call it the PC shrine because he had this. I mean, like in this room, this area, you had what was it, 50 PCs,
Well,
30
a little full.
rigs,
Technically 38.
38. Okay, yeah, all right. So you still walk in, and it was computer rigs, places to play, computer rigs, places to play, computer rigs, and then over here was
Excuse
this throne, right? This magical throne where he was able to uh, play, and pretty much everybody knew not to touch that PC. Like, don't touch the PC because that was just him. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Uh, this is a magazine that's local here that is about just Rochester communities and stuff like that. And Arena 51 is actually his computer shop. And I'm probably sitting in one of these rows here. I used to play in this. This is the middle.
Yeah.
There's the air hockey table here. This is
Yeah.
looking down into the front, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah. But he had a shrine in there that was actually pretty funny. Again, the computer all set up
Well,
and everything
if you're
like that.
talking about that 3 monitor, that was actually a kind of a sample, like I forget what company wanted to kind of show off their wear. Like
Oh,
I really didn't use it. I didn't really use it that much, but we let some people do it.
I mean, it was pretty cool. But yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. There's that's what he used to do. Doing crazy LAN
Yeah.
parties.
I was
You
proud of the
know,
logo. That was kind of the
yeah,
thing I was
absolutely.
most proud about. But
No, that's cool.
I still actually own Arena51.com. I just can't let go.
No, I would never let go of that. Absolutely not.
I'm just
Maybe
a
for the right
I'm just
price, but
right now I'm just a squatter.
sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Surprised I still have this.
Hey, the fact that you did have it, that's the
Yeah,
best part.
just like perfect spot right there and
Yeah.
line of sight.
No, that's awesome.
So,
So all right, let's see. So yes, let's scroll through here and see what people said.
QA.
Snowblind QA.
Yeah, question
All
answer.
right, yeah, sure. I guess we could do some question and answer. I'll answer or respond to what you guys are talking about with the games and stuff like that. And then if you
Warcraft
guys have a question you want to ask me or this guy that's reasonable and not ridiculous, then yeah, we'll probably answer it. However,
Halo.
we'll take a look at these games. Yeah, Halo collection does look kind of cool. That does look decent. The um, Warcraft 4. Are you ready for Vanilla WoW again? Did you hear about that?
I,
August something.
I heard something about
They're
that, but
doing the vanilla WoW.
like if I won't play WoW anymore, it's just too much of a time
You don't
consuming.
want to grind for like 4 months to get to 40? Come on, man.
And then the whole thing about there's always somebody, guys. My mom needs me to take out the trash, and then you have to wait. Like 60 people are waiting, like 59 people are waiting for this one, priest to get back to. So
Yeah.
it's just like I guess after that I got into a game called Natural Selection too,
Oh,
and
natural selection is pretty decent.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I kind of like those weird games that are very complex but have a very like I guess I call it a short half life.
Hmm.
Like it just you can use the complexity to build up, and then the game can end fairly quickly. It's not this thing that will take months of your life down the drain. And if I do it again, my wife would kill me.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I understand. I totally do.
Yeah,
I used to play so much.
yeah,
It was, I had a laptop at the time, and I was in college, and it sat on my man region. So
uh,
I don't know how potent it is anymore because it's
uh,
been nuked so many times. However, I still have my account. I still have some gold sets of armor or
uh.
orange sets of armors and stuff like that. And I don't know. I was gonna probably log in for like 20 minutes and then probably
Oh, you still play?
log out. No, no, no.
Huh.
So when this vanilla WoW thing
Oh,
happens
okay.
again, it'd be fun just to watch it for I don't know 10 minutes and then not
Yeah,
ever do it again.
like I'm a person that always if I do something I always get into it, and then
Mhm.
I get hardcore, then I
Yeah.
get out of it. Like I just kind of quit cold turkey.
So, have you played Mordhau?
Did I play what?
Mordhau.
Mordhau?
Oh, it's like Chivalry. Did you ever play Chivalry? The knight
Mm.
in
I
armor.
know what chivalry means, but
Well, okay, so now they have a game that's literally medieval hack and slash. So you
mm,
run at each other with maces and long swords and pikes and spears,
mm,
and it's just carnage. It's hilarious. But again, it's kind of like Overwatch when you say like when you suck bad. Like
mm.
you get no kills and 11 deaths, and you're like, yeah, all right, I did a lot of damage that round. Sick. That's
Uh,
great. So,
Unless you can
um,
be a healer while you learn, like the I guess the flow of the
there,
game.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's one guy that's a healer, but everybody like knows that as soon as you throw
Uh,
the med pack on the ground, they're like, yeah, that guy, get him. So, all right. What other games that we saw in E3 that were coming out? Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator. You
uh.
seen the new one that's
I
coming
heard
out?
people talking about it.
It looks incredible. It really does. It does.
What's the for?
Question. What's the next biggest tech show you're looking forward to? And what new PC tech are you looking forward to? Good. You know what, Kalen?
Hmm.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I think, well, to be honest with you, probably, and I know this is probably sad, but CES is probably the next time something big is going to drop. Like AMD's put out their new
I
chip.
blew their load.
And yeah, yeah, pretty much. Well, it was a little premature too, wasn't it? Like, oh yeah, and well, that was short lived, pretty much. But I don't think that there's going to be much happening until closer towards the end of the year because we're getting into that lull time.
Yeah.
Steam summer sale. Why do you think they have a summer sale during summer?
Yeah.
Their sales are
Well,
terrible, so they need to make some sort of money
well, I mean,
back.
it makes sense because it's a place where they can get a lot of free publicity if all these top YouTubers come in. If you have something that sticks out, you're
Yeah.
going to get a lot of people talking about it, and I think it's a great way to really advertise your new wares. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have something that's really good, it will speak for itself.
Absolutely. I mean, so next we got like some of the big shows. You got QuakeCon that's coming up.
Yeah,
That's
is that in Dallas or?
yeah, Dallas. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think my friend Dev Biker is going to go down there.
Nice,
Oh, he was here last year. He actually helped. He's one of the beta testers, so he helped out Corsair and saw a bunch of fans and
nice,
people's
nice.
PCs.
That's
Cool guy,
awesome.
yeah.
That's
So he,
very cool. Yeah, we are working to help a couple guys that are building stuff for that. We're working on a build ourselves, and we have a couple things that are going
mm,
on for that. But after that, you have DreamHack Montreal, which is coming up,
okay.
which is in September, and then you have PAX West as well. So we're getting into the busy season again once summer starts to end. But for me, I think the new tech that I want to see is I want to see utilization of RTX and make it work, and not like bullshit RTX. Pardon my French. Like congratulations, you got 2 games that got RTX. Sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. Awesome. That's terrible. That's awful. Like, are you kidding? You just
Battlefield,
dropped a brand new graphics card. You got 2 games. That's it. And everybody else is now like, oh yeah, check out the new RTX graphics that are in this game coming out, and in Dirt 2, and in this and in that, and it's like there's other things that you guys are totally missing when it comes to actually making things look realistic that RTX could improve and make things better, but you're just making them worse. Like, the reflections look great. That's all.
Well, I really don't think RTX is really going to be. Well, first you have to have more adoption of it, and AMD did mention it at I think E3. But like as more developers start to utilize this technology and they actually start improving it, I mean, the 2080 is going to be like kind of 2080 Ti is kind of the only thing that really can use it and maintain a good enough frame rate, like in Battlefield, from what all the reviews I saw. And
but even still, it's like it's not like it maintains them very well because you need multiple 2080 Ti's in order to keep a 4K res.
Well,
Well, put it this way.
I wasn't. I guess I don't think I was talking about was it?
Because if you go 4K, that's when things start getting hairy, and that's where a lot of people are just like, oh, I have 4K monitor, I have 1080 Ti, I can do 4K, and it's like, nah. Probably, maybe on certain games that aren't crazy.
CS:GO.
Yeah, right, exactly. Counter-Strike and Team Fortress and stuff like that. But, there's a lot of the time where they don't utilize the graphics cards the way that they should, which is just the story of our lives, pretty much. But, brings up a very good point. What about the Super NVIDIA GPUs? You mean like Quadro series and Teslas and Titan X's and stuff like that? If that's what you mean, then I mean, yeah, they're coming out with new stuff, but again, yeah, those cards are great and they can do some serious stuff, but you got $4,000 sitting around for a Tesla? I don't.
Well, even 2080 Ti was super expensive.
Yeah, so what was it, like 1,400 when they came out or something like that?
The MSRP was 1,200 1,200 for the Founders Edition. Then like the $1,000 ones were like the 300 non-A, which you couldn't really do much of the pushing the power limits on it.
Absolutely right.
I mean, there's only one reason I bought a 2080 Ti. That's for I had a 1080 right now, which is non-Founder Edition, and I wanted to try Hydro X. So that's the only reason why, or else I wouldn't have bought it. And I didn't want to do a side upgrade, and I just want. I guess I've never owned a flagship,
super high end,
but I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. I've literally owned that thing for about a month.
And it's still sitting.
Yeah, and it's
I saw it. It's in a bag,
I'm
naked,
still waiting to block.
Sitting, waiting. But
waiting. I'm waiting for it to get here.
That's okay.
Whenever, I'll be happy. But,
patience is a virtue, right? Isn't that how that works or something?
Yeah, a lot of patience.
Yeah.
We've known about that for quite a while. But.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. The 2080 Ti's, they do need to come down in price. I mean, a lot of I've never really had a high-end, card myself until recently. Now we have them, and it's incredible. The cards really do some awesome stuff. But I'm looking at.
I want to let me answer. So he actually asked, Envious Mod asked, like, what show I looking forward to.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
so
continue.
I actually want to go to, because I'm not like in the industry as you are. I'm just kind of a guy who built a little board and became more enthusiast. I actually want to go to CES and check it out. I've never been to like one of these large shows. Even when I ran my own little business, there was no need to. But I think it'd be kind of interesting, doing it more for YouTube than I wouldn't be trying to sell this at the time.
Yeah.
But
going around and taking
saying hi to Corsair, just just seeing, you know, kind of the industry in general, like how these shows maybe try to find, you know, this little niche things. I kind of like trying to find like little niche things that people don't see or think of. You know, you have
Mhm.
all, you know, all the YouTubers are going crazy about like, you know, AMD's new, you know, Ryzen 2.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I want to go after those things. So, envious.
Kalen, he'll be at CES. Yes,
Yeah.
CES is a lot of fun. For us, it's a little bit different. To be able to go as a consumer or as just a somebody to go to see the show
Yeah.
would be incredible. For us, it's a little different because we're going there and usually showing off a PC
See,
that we
yeah.
built or something like that. So we're and then we're running around going to see Corsair and Main Gear and EVGA and Gigabyte and Norris, and you just gotta go see everybody and all that. So it's a little bit difficult, but I agree with you. I think it would be for you
Yeah.
especially. It'd be incredible to just be able to walk around and see us on the floor and stuff like that. It really is. It's an incredible experience to be in Vegas, but it really is. It's pretty neat when you see an autonomous vehicle taxi just drive by you.
Did it hit anybody?
No, no, it's the coolest thing ever. Though they had like five or six of them when we were there 2 years ago for CES. So they were literally just you hop in, get in, and just sit there,
Mm.
and it drives you. It's like man, that's pretty incredible. So what new tech are you waiting for? I'm waiting for the RGB to come out.
Well, hopefully, maybe within a week I'll have them here, and I'll actually have to still solder some of the headers on here. But
Okay.
maybe preferably before the end of the month. I really want to. The I really want to get these out to the market, but of
Sure.
course I have to test them, make sure I didn't really screw something up in the
Mhm.
design. I had a PCB manufactured by somebody else for all the designs I did, and then I went to a separate company that does everything like the assembly. So they make the PCBs, they source the components, and then they
Mm,
pick and place every
they put
component.
everything in. Okay. All right.
So I wanted to go for a turnkey shop because I'm fairly new to this. So
Yeah.
um, and we'll see how it comes. I'm excited for it, and, and I can't wait to. I hope people really enjoy it. I think I have two people, 3 people that are, you know, testing these for me.
I'll be a fourth.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
happily do it.
sorry. Actually, you guys do have one already. You have a
Yeah, we
sitting
do.
in the corner, you know, running.
It is.
Yes.
It actually literally just got unplugged the other day, but it's
Okay.
been running for a long time. So
Yeah, try to find something wrong with them. I mean, I've had mine in my system, but then again, I shut my PC off. So,
yeah.
you know, I want to try to make sure this is idiot proof. But you know, in actuality, it's fairly simple. It's just you have to have all these extra components to kind of make it work in the guaranteed way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Oh, it's a sweet little design for sure.
there's a bent.
There's a bit of pent up demand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. I know what you mean. I want one too,
Oh,
because I would like to. You know how handy this would have been like years, at least 3 years ago. Because like when we built our first one, we had no idea, and all the RGB was all sorts of not right, and we had to. No, it was just
mm.
terrible.
oh,
So
oh, Pirate Dog Tech said he was going to what is it? QuakeCon.
yeah.
You guys are gonna have a PC there, right?
Yeah, we should have a PC. QuakeCon is the 25th, I think, or something like that.
Uh,
Yes, we will have a PC there. We will have a PC on display over at Corsair, but I
okay.
can't really tell you much more other
Okay.
than that. So
Well,
if you are there at QuakeCon, make sure you go check out the Corsair booth because we might
so
have something there.
so Jay, take a picture for me with him, you know, smiling and
Yeah,
picking it up and running out the door.
you'd probably get ransacked, to be honest with you. You probably get it. Did you know they're doing a blood drive? They're actually they're doing a blood drive at QuakeCon, and which was I thought was kind of cool. You know, I mean, it's interesting that they're doing it, but you know, it was it's a good idea. So, 1 to 2, I get 1 to 2 questions a week controlling 12-volt analog RGB from their Corsair stuff. Yeah, no kidding. It's to be perfectly honest with you, trying to get all the RGB stuff to work together is just awful, full awful, as as they would eat. It's just
I mean,
terrible.
as things go, things become more standard. I mean, this happens with every type of technology.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, people try to find the ways. Like, for example, for the like ARGB for motherboards, Gigabyte actually switched from their little standard to use the Asus and the and
Mm-hmm.
what MSI and also ASRock uses for their motherboard. So there's a lot of convergence into trying to make things work because they want to have their device work with as many devices as they can.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So Pirate Dog Tech will be working at Corsair booth helping them out.
Nice.
Yeah, so he
So then you can definitely take photo.
yeah. No,
Well, we would appreciate that, to be
Uh,
honest with
who
you.
knows? Maybe I'll fly down there. But like, so I'm from Texas. Like, I live
Oh, are you?
about 2 hours east of Dallas. And the thing is, if I go to something like that, like my sister, my whole family would just give me this like jealous, guilt trip. Like,
Why are you down here visiting
yeah.
us and you're gonna go do that?
But I
Yeah.
wanted to meet Jay, and I don't play Quake, but I wanted to hang out with my buddies down there that I
Sure.
know. So
Of
Jay's from
course.
Texas.
And that's cool. Actually, a really good way to wrap up this stream and to end
Yeah.
is like, a lot of the things like that we do in our community and in our mods and in building the relationships that we have with business partners or with customers or with whoever. It's all about one thing really, and we're all about the same
Yeah.
thing, which is finding a place that we can all kind of play together and all enjoy the same thing together.
Mm-hmm.
You might not necessarily like hard tubing and doing water cooling and this, that, and the other, but I do over on this side. And maybe my water cooling and stuff like that might work with whatever you're doing, and maybe we can collaborate
Yeah,
together.
which is the best part. I mean, this is, the stream is proof of the collaboration and
Ex-
enjoyment. It's a lot of fun doing this. It's
It
a
is.
lot easier than editing and like making content, going back and then reshooting something. It's a lot better than that.
Yeah, exactly. So, if there's any bit of advice, I would definitely say to anyone, if you enjoy what you do when playing on the computer and being a part of a community that actually is supportive of making your computer your own, that's kind of what we want to do, and that's how we kind of have grown together. You started a company specifically for that,
Yeah.
for you and your friends to come on down to play some games and to just literally murder each other for an hour and a half or whatever, or 8 hours,
Well, oddly enough,
whatever.
people will come in there and say, why would we do this here as opposed to at home? I'm like, well, why would you go to a bar and drink a beer as opposed
Exactly,
to
it's
drinking
drinking
lonely
at
at your
home.
home? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
As reclusive or antisocial that people think gamers might be, we want to play multiplayer
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing better really than you're sitting there jamming,
Yeah.
playing, and your buddy's right next to you. If you're sitting there, I can go, what the hell, Doran? Why didn't you do that?
Yeah.
And you can go back and forth or whatever, and
Yeah.
and that the camaraderie of gaming
Esprit de
and
corps, yeah.
yeah, it really is. It really is. But again, I think that's a great place to show you, to wrap up and
Yeah.
to end here, because showed you a couple of products that we had here. And you talked
Yeah.
about your DAC and stuff like that. I'm starting to lose my voice.
It's just
And
faster.
I'm sure your wife is
Well, we
probably
planned to only go for 30 minutes, and now we're about like an
hour and 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, we're done. We're
Yeah,
done.
so thank you very much, everybody. Please subscribe to ModMyMods and Solarity Technologies channel. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, Kevin, for showing up.
Absolutely.
Thank you for showing thank you for Alphaco for supplying it, and thank you for Corsair for letting me be beta tester and play with their
Gotta
toys.
love.
I mean, that thing has worked great. I mean, especially for streaming and that. But and thank you very much to everybody who took the time to put up with us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
To start somewhere.
exactly. Yeah, and hopefully we started in a good
Yeah.
place, not in the bad place.
Hopefully we're still not muted.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Well, thank you again, guys. I appreciate it.
you.
And if there's anything that we can do, obviously, you know where to find this guy, and he
Yeah.
can get a hold of us.
Check out ModMyMods.
And make sure you take a look at this
Yeah.
guy's RGB DAC. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty incredible. So thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.